Your trials and traumas are unique to you. Yet, trials and traumas are not unique in life. Many people suffer, and those around you are probably struggling with many things that you don't even know about. I've struggled with things in my life, and that has led me to create trial tappers. Trial tappers are people that find hope, resilience, and post-traumatic growth after life's trials and traumas. I want to explain to you a lot more about how I teach the theory of post-traumatic growth and helping people overcome trials in life. Post-traumatic growth is an awesome theory that many people do not understand. When I go and teach in large groups, I'll often ask people to raise their hand if they understand what is the theory of post-traumatic growth. And very few hands will be risen. And of those that are risen, I'll ask, can they explain the different domains of post-traumatic growth or how to teach it to others? And those hands will go down. Most people do not understand the theory. But the exciting thing is that when I do teach them the theory of post-traumatic growth, it excites many people. Now, why is this? The idea of trauma and being trauma informed is an important task. And right now, many therapists are out there teaching to be trauma informed and trying to help people understand about trauma. Now, it's a great thing, and many people are starting to realize that they have been traumatized and maybe they need to get into some therapy or some kind of support groups. But another thing that sometimes happens is people start ruminating or really thinking about that trauma or something that's happened and start turning inward and not looking for help outside. It's an interesting thing. When I was going to my master's degree program, we started learning about all the different diagnoses for trauma. And one of the things they ask us to do is to not diagnose ourselves, because it's easy to start identifying every one of those things in those lists. And then people start saying, oh yeah, I have that, and I have this, and I have this. And so we try not to do that. But sometimes with the education of the trauma, we're starting to reinforce that people are just in a very bad space and that people are starting to feel bad about what they're going through. And yet, I'm trying to really focus on this idea of a strength-based approach using post-traumatic growth to help people move beyond the trauma and to overcome those things. Now, one of the things that's also very common right now is this idea of being resilient. Now, you're hearing this everywhere, right? It's very challenging because I've heard the other day on TV that my hair can be resilient with shampoo. Or I heard that the weeds in my garden are resilient out there. Or the stains in my collars in my shirt are resilient. Media is starting to use the word resilient for all kinds of things instead of the general practice of trying to be resilient and to bounce back from a struggle or a trauma in life. Now, when we talk about the idea of resilience, I once heard it coined by Christian Moore, the idea of to bounce back from something that's happened to you. Now, resiliency is a great thing, and I teach it all the time, and it's very important to try to help people get there. But usually when people come to me, they're in a very difficult space, right? They're not feeling resilient. When we talk about a line of happiness, they're falling below the line of happiness, and they're wondering, why are they not resilient, right? And so they start figuring out, well, what's wrong with me if I haven't bounced back to where I was working before? And I also struggle with this after trials and traumas in my life, particularly when my younger brother committed suicide. For the next several months, I was below this line of happiness. I was struggling with all those same things that many people struggle with, right? Having trouble sleeping, being irritable, having relationship struggles, not being able to focus at work. And so I started having these things that I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm at work and people are thinking, oh, he's back. And people could say I've bounced back or I'm going through the motions, but the idea that I wasn't feeling resilient inside, right? I was still struggling. And many people struggle with this for a little while. Now, if this continues after a grief or a trauma, it's very typical to go through those periods of time where you're struggling with these different things and trying to recenter and to try to get back into your practice. Now, I don't want to say, it's often people say, well, it's just a new normal. It's not a new normal. I don't need to accept this new level of, if I was at this level, I don't need to accept that now I'm working at this level. I want to move into this theory of post-traumatic growth. So the theory of post-traumatic growth would say if I'm below this level and I want to find resilience to move back at the same level, that's one thing. But the next thing I want to do is to find post-traumatic growth and move to the higher level. So that's what I teach people when we talk about the theory of post-traumatic growth. I'm excited about the videos that I teach and the concepts that I teach about the theory of post-traumatic growth, which has been around since the 1990s. And it's very important to help people, and it's very uplifting to many people. So I'm excited about the idea that I get to teach the theory of post-traumatic growth, and I'll continue to teach those theories and how I teach that. Now, I've written some books that explain that, but the idea and the theory of post-traumatic growth is well established, a lot of research behind it. I'm surprised that many people do not understand it, but it's a very positive, strength-based approach that can help many people. And I hope that you continue to watch these videos. If you're liking any of this, please subscribe to my channel and you're going to learn more about how I teach it over the next few videos. Thanks for watching.